In this example, we have an application problem that states the length of a rectangular sign is 3 feet longer than the width. If the sign has space for 40 square feet of advertising, find its width and length. Use the formula A equals L times W. The first thing I normally do in these problems is draw a little sketch. Notice I said sketch, that's about as good as my rectangles get there. And I know the area equals 40 square feet. Here I have the length of my rectangle, here I have my width. And the formula is area equals length times width. Well, notice I have 3 variables in this equation. I want to get it down to 1. Well, I know the area is 40 square feet, so I know 40 equals, and now I need to either write the length in terms of the width or the width in terms of the length. So I have to translate this first sentence here. The length of a rectangular sign is, that translates to L equals, translates to equals 3 feet longer than the width. And I could write here 3 plus W or W plus 3. It makes no difference which way I write it since it's addition. But 3 feet longer than the width means you're going to add 3 feet to the width. So that length is W plus 3, and then I'm going to multiply it by W. Now, how many variables do I have left in this equation? Just 1. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is distribute my W in. So I get 40 equals W times W is W squared plus W times 3, which is 3W. So now what type of equation do I have here? Notice it's degree 2, it's quadratic, and how do we solve quadratic equations? We want to get 0 on one side, everything else on the other written in descending order. So I need to get 0 where the 40 is, so I'm going to have to subtract 40 from both sides of my equation. And so I get 40 minus 40 is 0. Now, do I have any like terms over here? No, all unlike terms, so write them in descending order. That means the squared term first, then the linear term, and then finally the constant. So now I have it in standard form. That means 0 on one side, everything on the other in descending order. Now we're going to first of all try and factor it. So I'm running out of room, so let me go to the next page. I've already written my equation here. And to factor, we always want to compare it to ax squared plus bx plus c. A is the coefficient of the squared term. What number are we too efficient to write in front of that w squared? It is a1. What is b? B is the coefficient of the linear term, so that's 3. And c is the constant, it's negative 40. So we multiply a times c. So a is 1, c is negative 40. So a times c is 1 times negative 40 is negative 40. So I need 2 numbers that multiply to AC, which is negative 40, and add to B, which is 3. Since they multiply to a negative, my signs of my 2 numbers have to be opposite, and the sign of the one with the bigger absolute value has to be the positive. So I'm going to start with negative 1 and 40. So negative 1 plus 40 gives me positive 39, way away from what I want. So I put it on pause to fill out the table. Negative 2 times 20, that one didn't work. 3 didn't divide into negative 40. Negative 4 and positive 10 didn't work. But negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. Negative 5 plus 8 is 3. So these are the numbers I'm looking for. And as A, the leading coefficient is 1, these are my factors. So I'm going to have 0 equals W minus 5 times W plus 8. Don't forget, if you want to check your factoring, you can always FOIL this out to see if you get this equation. So now I factored it, and I have 0 on the other side. So two numbers multiplied together equals 0. Set each of them equal to 0. So W minus 5 equals 0, or W plus 8 equals 0. So from W minus 5 equals 0, add 5 to both sides, you get W equals 5. And from W plus 8 equals 0, subtract 8 from both sides, you get W equals negative 8. Well, in this case, since W represents a physical distance, it cannot be negative. You cannot draw a rectangle with a negative width. Therefore, our width is 5. So I know the width is 5, and we need to put units on it, feet. Is that all they asked us to find? No, they also asked us to find the length. And remember, the length was W plus 3. So L is 5 plus 3. So that is 8. So the length is 8 feet.